Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Nick, started saying something about what you were writing.
Oh, yeah. I've last I talked to y'all, I was, we all pitched and stuff. I pitched that first book that I finished. Well, about last week, about a week ago, I finished the first draft of the follow up, and it's just shy of 78,000 words. So
Wow.
Oh,
um,
nice.
setting that aside, and then I'll go back and edit on that. Probably a few months once it's a little bit less fresh in my mind. So.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
yeah, it's a big load off. I'm taking a little bit of a. I was planning on trying to do the National Novel Writing Month thing. I know it's not officially going anymore, but my writers group was doing a version of it. But I haven't really been hitting any kind of goals for that yet. I'm kind of taking a break uh, from writing. I've been going pretty consistent, so I didn't want to burn myself out.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. How about you, Rachel?
Yeah, I've been working on my rewrites, just continuing those since we last talked. I'm closing in, so I'm 3 to 4 chapters away from being done.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
my
That's really
betas are breathing down my neck for the next chapters, which
Oh,
is
that's
in
awesome.
a good way. They're very,
Yeah.
I left them on some cliffhangers on purpose.
Mm.
And they're like, we
Oh,
have to
very nice.
know. What are you doing? Anyway, so it's been good, but I'm on track to keep my schedule for the end of the year
Okay,
and then
perfect.
do edits during December and then query in January.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Very, very good.
it's
Yes.
been fun. How about you?
So I did finish I guess it's the second draft. I don't know. It's so weird
Mhm.
because the way I write is just really weird. But so I have finished the second draft, and it's it's over 100,000 words, which I think is fine, because
Yeah.
once I start cleaning up the text and everything, it'll cut down to what it needs to
Mm.
be, I
Mhm.
think. So I'm really excited about that. I finished it actually a couple days ago, and so now I'm not technically not touching it, but every once in a while I keep getting like, oh, this would be really neat to put in there. So I open up a document and put that in. So then I'm just working on like doing the background stuff, like the power systems and you know
Yeah.
all of the things that make the world feel really fleshed out in world building and things like that. I put like placeholders of names in for things in the general story just so I could get it out. And then
Mhm.
once I start the rewrite, I'll put in the actual names of the things and how I hate to call it the magic system because it's not magic per se, but how the magic system works and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's really exciting. I'm excited about it.
Awesome. It's just
Yeah.
fun. So I'm interested, how is it not a magic system? Is it more like, I don't know, is it leaning towards sci-fi almost, where it's like a realistic ability? Like it's scientifically
So
explainable, I guess is what I mean.
yeah, so it's kind of like that. Yeah, so it's
Okay.
kind of scientifically explainable on a different in a different universe.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's not yeah. Yeah, so there's no like incantations or things like that
Sure.
in there or anything like that. Yeah. So it's very like nature connected, and
Mhm.
so I wanted that to be a really big thing, is bringing out nature and how it affects all of us just like in real life it really does. And so I wanted that to be like personified in the
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah. Do
I
you guys
think,
have go sorry, go ahead.
oh, no, no, no. Ask your question.
No, no, I was gonna say, what are your systems like? I didn't want to
Yeah.
give too much away. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So the way you described it, like my magic system, I think of it as magic, but it is just my characters tapping into basically a divine energy. They don't use incantations. It's very like the phenotype of my magic system and the magic users is very Avatar The Last Airbender, where they're channeling something and then
Okay, yeah.
using it to either manipulate things or generate things like fire or whatever. And that's part of it. there are other like branches of
Right. Yes.
how tapping into the magic can be used in like a less elemental way, but that's the easiest example. And the main character uses fire, so that's the main way people are going to see magic in the first book. But yeah, there are no spells or anything. There's a stigma around that though, almost like where the cultures are combating, and they like call the mages, like I call them mages and they call themselves mages, but the other cultures consider them to be like witches or whatever, and they're like, we're not witches.
Right.
That's not what we do. That's not real. So it's kind of fun to play around with that.
Nice. How about
you?
Yours? Yeah.
Yeah, mine's kind of similar to yours, Rachel. It's more like kind of a just elemental or divine energy of the world. But I don't there's some incantation type stuff, but that's more it's kind of understood that exists, but I don't really delve into the characters actually saying that kind of stuff. I might like make slight reference to that occasionally, like about if a magic item was something sealed with an incantation or something. I'm not actually going to like write it out like Harry Potter style though, or anything like that. It's more just as it's I put limits on things and everything, and I try to define that a little bit loosely, where the characters aren't just all powerful or whatever. But it's more kind of Tolkien-esque in the sense that they just it's not overly explained.
It's soft
what's
magic.
happening. Yeah, it's pretty soft. And there's not much of it in the first book at all. There's a lot more in the second. There's kind of a ritual thing that happens. There is, I guess, a few little incantation type things in that, but it's just a gibberish, language from something, and to commune with somebody from beyond the grave and all that. That's the second book is when magic really starts kind of coming in. There's very little in the first, but it does talk about it. There's like mages and stuff out there, but yeah, I plan on the one I'm working on next. There's going to be the main character is a mage in that, so it's going to be getting a lot more into it. So I'm kind of still trying to work through exactly how he interacts with the world and all that. So, yeah, it's trying to be as loosely defined as possible, and without while it's still being interesting and something you can actually follow. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like soft magic stories sometimes, where you're just like, oh, he can do this, and who cares why?
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you did it.
Yeah, it gets hard, like when you're doing, because I guess mine is, I'm trying to find the balance between the hard and soft magic, and like what I want to be explained and what I want just to be felt, if that's the right word, you know? So, because sometimes the more you over explain it, the harder, the less believable it becomes. So trying to balance can be difficult.
It's also very fun.
Am I freezing? Okay.
Just a little bit. I can hear you, but your video is a little lagging.
All right. Same. I'm going to see something if I can do something. So I don't know if there's a timestamp here, but I will try something.
Yeah, we can work it out.
Yeah.
Okay, how about now?
Yes,
Am I freezing? Is it better? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it actually is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. And you can still hear me. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Perfect. I know, because I've got my phone going and I have my computer going just in case one goes kaput on me. And so it was like really weird trying to figure out how to get the sound without making it echo. Yeah.
No, that's smart.
Well, thank you.
I would not have thought to do that. I'd be like, oh no, it's broken. Oh, I'm a failure.
Many Zoom meetings.
Yes.
Yes. Lots of practice. I did have like questions.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
That's all we can talk about. Okay. So we talked about what we're working on now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, would you mind, either of you, talking about your writing style? And I, I know it's so hard.
Nick, do you want to go first?
But if you mind talking a little bit about, there might be others who are like, I can't do it too hard, but there's many different ways to go about, writing a novel.
Um, yeah, I've been trying to. Usually, what I'll do is I'll have an outline for what I want to do generally, but I usually am not very good about writing it down right away. So I work off of this nebulous kind of outline in my head for like I know sometimes I'll write down this needs to happen in this chapter, this needs to happen in this chapter, and I'll write little paragraphs for what the next few ahead are. That's been like the most effective way to kind of keep momentum going on that for me. But
Mhm.
I don't. When I first started trying to write, I did do like an outline system where I like, oh, I'm going to do exactly this in this chapter and this chapter, and this is what's going to happen. And then that just didn't really work for
Mhm.
me.
Yeah.
So I just kind of try to um, like the final outline for this, the one that the uh, manuscript that I just finished a week ago. I About a week before that was when I really wrote the final kind of outline for like the last section of it. I kind of had it in my head, but didn't have everything firmed up until I got to a certain point, and then it was a little bit easier for
Mhm.
me to kind of write down what comes next. And then some of it still I don't exactly follow that all the time. Sometimes it'll be like, oh, maybe this would be better if they got into a cart and like we're talking about this as they were going from point A to point B instead of staying here to do this or something like that. So little
Mhm.
changes. I guess it's like a more of a what they call it pantser, I guess, as far as just kind of like discovery
Mhm.
writing. And plot,
Mhm.
I do have a plot. I know where I'm going, but I do not often know exactly how I'm going to get there. Um,
Mhm.
and I like doing that. It kind of helps me discover it along the way. And it also it's a good thing to keep me going as far as interest in it and momentum because it's a story that I like, that I'm writing. I want to read the next part. I don't want to have the next part of
Mhm.
it, but like I've got to write it,
Right.
for that to happen. I can't wait on somebody else to do it. So it's a good motivation tool to kind of have an idea of what's coming, but not exactly know what it is
Mhm.
until I'm actually writing it out. Um, and then I'll go back. There's like when I've been editing on my first manuscript, there's scenes that I took out and scenes that I added. There's things that I didn't realize that I needed until I was talking to some beta readers about something that they'd gotten to, and they were, this didn't make sense. Or it wasn't as clear as I wanted it to be. So um, I ended up writing a whole new scene. It made me realize that I needed a whole other scene to kind of explain some stuff, and now I can't imagine that scene not being there.
Right.
Um, so yeah, there's certain sections that I know I'm gonna need to clean up in this latest one where it's just call and answer dialogue back and forth, and I just needed to get that out. Some of the action stuff is going to come a little bit
Mhm.
later in my next revision, but yeah, I guess I don't know if that explains it, kind of, but yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
just kind of try to feel it out as I go along, and
Do you
Yeah.
think any like other authors have influenced your writing? Or even like you write music, right? You produce
mhm.
music. So do you think that influences your writing style, like your voice?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I probably like I know I noticed when I was going back through a friend of mine that's also a musician had noticed, and when he's reading through, he's one of the people that was taking a look at it, that I'd used a number of like when I was talking about thunder, I liken it to like drums or concert drums, or the tempo of that, or like a drum head rattling when something's happening. Yeah, there's or about reverberations on this and that. Yeah, and I take a lot of inspiration from different songs. Like uh, this last manuscript I was working on, I got the idea for it when I was listening to Can't Buy a Thrill by Steely Dan. It's got like Do It Again and all that stuff on it. So like, yeah, music. Sometimes I'll do chapter titles based on like a certain, like take a song title or something like that as well. And yeah, as far as other authors, um, I tend to write more in like a third person limited kind of style. So it's not exactly, so it's like a mix of first and third kind of. So like I do take some inspiration from uh, George R. R. Martin on that. It's not as graphic as some of his. There's a show that's coming out next year that heavily inspired me wanting to write more like lighthearted fantasy that's in that Game of Thrones universe called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Oh.
And it's based on the first season is going to be based on the novella The Hedge Knight, and that's really good. Even if I can't recommend Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire to everybody because it's kind of graphic, but I could pretty much recommend The Hedge Knight to anybody, even like a young teen up to adult. It's just a really good, lighthearted, small scale fantasy story, and after reading that, I wanted to write something like that. I wanted to write something in that world. So like my first manuscript just takes place, save for the very end of it. It all takes place within a few days at a tournament. So it's not like a big, we're going to defeat the Dark Lord kind of thing. Nothing against that. I'm probably going to get there eventually, but
It's lower stakes.
Yeah, lower stakes, more human, emotional kind of stories. Yeah. Another influence writer of mine was Lloyd Alexander. He did like more children's books in the 70s and 60s and 70s, like the Bredane Chronicles and the Westmark trilogy. Just really good. Came up with interesting names and stuff, kind of Tolkien-esque, but for more younger audiences. There's a big influence on me growing up, wanting to write.
Awesome.
Nice. How about you, Rachel?
So it's interesting. I think I kind of touched on it when we were talking in person, but when I first started writing, I was pantsing it basically because it was completely new. Like these scenes were just coming to me and I was like, oh, and they'll do this, oh, and they'll do that. And then I like coalesced into being more of a plotter. And I was like, I love plotting. I'm like, excellent. Then they'll do this and this connects this way. So it's really fun to like pre-connect everything. And then I still feel like I'm discovering things inside the scene. Like I have a goal for my chapter, and I have like a plot goal for them to move forward. And then I have character goals for like each person. But if I kind of connect them, then it just kind of falls together. And so it still feels new to me, but then it also I have the fulfillment of my plan coming together. And I'm like, yes. That being said, I did outline this current work in progress. I did need to re-outline it because I pants so much at the beginning. So it was now it's kind of like coming together. And so that's really fun and satisfying. But the next book I'm going to write, that's actually it's a different world. It's probably not going to be a series. I've already outlined it down to 5 beats for each chapter. So I know everything that's going to happen, but I still get the nuance of how are they going to talk? Like what kind of like cultural jokes are they going to make? Because it's like a totally different planet and everything. So that's really fun. I really liked outlining that, but it's been hard to not just go write it and abandon what I'm working on right now to start on it. So I'm definitely very, very much a plotter.
Right.
But
I'm
certain that you cut off.
No, go ahead.
What were you saying? Sorry.
I didn't say anything, actually. Go ahead.
I heard no, I was just gonna say, so I can't say that Brandon Sanderson hasn't influenced me because he did. Because I was like, well, this is cool and fun. I want to
Okay.
Anyway, I can't say because I was reading him kind of around the time that I was planning out the book. So I can't say that he had no influence.
Mhm.
It just kind of, I'm not really trying to take anything of his. I don't think I took anything away from his voice because he's very factual. He's not very
Mhm.
poetic. He doesn't use a lot of purple prose. And sometimes I really like when an author just says something so cleverly in such a deep, meaningful way that it's
Mhm.
almost like poetry, just like a little bit.
Yeah.
But I love that. And so when I go back and edit, like my first draft is usually pretty factual. And then I can go back and add in that flavor and nuance.
Hmm.
Um, so I think honestly, Jane Austen probably influenced me a lot because her character, like, it's very low stakes, unlike my book, but her characterizations are so in depth about people, just the way she describes different kinds of people and how they think and interact. I've always loved that. And so I wanted that same kind of character depth. And like, you read a paragraph about this person and you're like, I know everything about them. I know exactly
Right.
what they're going to do and say. So I aim actually to be that skillful with some of my characters. But
Right.
I would have to say her, and I would definitely say a lot of the music I listen to influences some of like the metaphors that I want to use. So I listen to
Mhm.
a lot of Gable Price and Sons because I think their lyrics are awesome. And Imagine Dragons, honestly,
Right.
because they rock.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they do. I have two kids. They rock.
Yes. How about you?
So I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to do my
Mhm,
influence first. And so Kate Elliott is a huge
mhm,
influence of mine. She's an Australian author, and I mean, just one of the most beautiful writing I've ever read.
mhm,
Just the way she explains things. It's just, we're saying, it's like when you listen to it, like when I'm listening to it, or when I'm reading it, it's like I'm on this gentle, the way she describes things, the way she puts her words together. It's um it's literally like I am right there in the story with the characters. And when I stop reading, I'm like, oh, that's right. You have TVs here, you know.
yeah.
So she's a really, if I could ever match her prose, it would just be like, woo. But I know I'll never get to that point. Which is fine. She is who she is, and that's why I love reading her. Um, let's see who else. I love Robert Jordan and the way he described
Mhm,
things. And I know that a lot of people have an issue, like he over explained things. But for me, especially at the time in my life when I was reading him, I needed that. Like I just
mhm,
needed to read a book that felt like I was living a day in the life of these characters. And I
mhm,
love stuff like that. You know, I like, slice of life anime and things like that, where it's just like they're just going about their day, they're cooking a meal, and so
mhm,
I do kind of like some of that. I've only read one Brandon Sanderson book, and that's Elantris.
mhm.
Um, and I'm not reading any of his others
I wouldn't have
because
started with Elantris. It is not my favorite.
oh goodness. And I mean,
I
I like
understand
it.
why.
It was, yeah. So yeah, but it's definitely a different take on prose than I was
Yes.
used to, coming from like um Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. So they're
Mhm.
known for like the Dragonlance series, but my favorite of theirs is Deathgate Cycle.
I love
And
Deathgate. Oh
then,
my gosh, we have to talk about Deathgate.
oh my goodness.
It's
Okay.
great.
When I do my review video, we have to do it together.
Yes. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
We'll
Yes. Yes.
review that.
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
They're
so that
fantastic.
was, yeah, yes, it's great. And then Tad Williams.
Mhm.
Um, so Tad Williams, Robert Jordan, Kate Elliott, Sarah Douglas, Michelle West Segura.
Mhm.
And all of them have this very lyrical, prosy way of writing.
Mhm.
Um, and that's what I aspire to. So I do it a little bit on my first write through, but then on my second write through, I literally open up the entire document. So now this will be my third document of the book, and go paragraph by paragraph and rewrite each paragraph. So now I want it to sound like a, I just want it to sound a certain way. I want to make sure the sentences flow. Yeah, so those are like my big, I guess, influencers. And then I like lots of music. I love Evanescence. I love her mood. And so like when I'm getting into that mood, I mean, we don't talk about gothic mood. That's it right there. Digital Daggers, Paramore, Flyleaf she's really good. Although I can listen to that stuff before I start writing. I can actually write while listening to Evanescence, but I can't write listening to the others or Flyleaf because Flyleaf is so loud. But yeah, so that's it. But then my writing style is very much like Nick's. I will just write what comes to me at first. And so I just write it all down, and then I start organizing it once I have enough, then I start organizing it into chapters or sections. And then once I get down to 3/4 of the way, then I plot, then I outline. Then I'm like, okay, so this is what's happened so far. I know what's happening here at the end. I need to tie these together. I need to hit these certain things, but I don't know exactly what those things are yet until I start to write them. So, which is really cool. So now that it's all written, it was like, oh wow, that's neat. And then I have all these notes on the side, of like, okay, you said this happens, but you need to go back to chapter 1 and you need to foreshadow this. And this item is here. You don't mention it again. And then my beta reader also was really good at that. She's like, is this going to come up again? I'm like, oh, that's a good question. And then just write that kind of stuff down. It's so important to have those beta readers because they're really good at like picking stuff out, especially if they're like doing it in a constructive way because they want the story to be good. They want to know what happens. And so that feeding back at you is going to only make your book better.
Yeah.
Huh. So
I do love beta readers. They're a blessing.
Do you have beta readers yet, Nick, besides us reading your book?
I have a couple, but I would like to definitely have more as soon as I can, if y'all would be interested, I definitely wouldn't, and I'd like to read y'all's as well. Because
absolutely.
Because the first one is definitely in a state where I could have, I've had people read it and stuff. The second one, I don't have any beta readers for it yet. And I would want to clean it up considerably before doing so, because it does have, it's full of notes and stuff and this and that right now. So, but yeah, in a few months, when I start cleaning that up, I'll definitely want to have some people looking at that. It is very beneficial. Like there's one fellow East Texas Writers Guild member that I've gone back and forth, and we've been reading some of each other's work, and his feedback was really helpful in my rewrite, because I was taking before I would send him chapters, I would go ahead and go over them myself as best as I could and clean them up better, and then when I got them back from him, I was taking his notes and I'd have them side by side and looking at what his feedback was, and some of it was very very helpful, and especially because he's a friend of mine. We're in the guild together, but I didn't know him really at all before this. We just talked a few times, so we don't have that. He doesn't have that filter where he's like just telling me what you want. You want somebody that's not just telling you what you want to hear. That, oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. He'll, like, there's parts he's like, I didn't like this at all. Or this you need to do this up. This isn't this isn't good, or this is good, and I like how you did this, but you could do So he's really free with his constructive criticism. It's really it's helpful to have somebody like that.
Yeah,
I love criticism as long as it's constructive.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
As long as it is helping me make it better, I am good with it.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because I was writing in a certain way, and this is what made me switch up my writing style. Actually, sorry, my neighbor is target practicing, so
I didn't hear anything.
That's what it is. live in the country. There's no rules out here.
Oh
So I switched up my writing style a little bit because I was trying to have my main character have this certain speech. I wanted her to come off a certain way. And then my beta reader was like, oh, is she like uneducated, lower class? And I'm like, no, that is not at all the idea that I wanted you to get from it. And so I think it was because the language itself, her speech was a little bit too much Old English, whereas the actual narration of the story is not that way. And so I just stopped doing that. And I figured on my rewrite, I will go back and hone in on that kind of stuff. But it was really helpful because that's like the opposite of what I want people to get from this character. So yeah, so that was really good, like information. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about English? It's like this weird conglomeration of mostly German and then, or like Proto-German, and then Latin. And
Mm-hmm.
what's funny is that the higher classes throughout like British English, UK history into American history is that we've made the Latin base words more fancy. They refer to
Mm-hmm.
things that are higher quality, and then the more Proto-German based words like Old
Mm-hmm.
English are lesser. And
Yeah.
so when you use more of those words, like you're saying the same thing, they sound less refined just because
Right.
of that crazy, weird language bias that we've had for
Mm-hmm.
hundreds and hundreds of years while this
Yeah.
language is developing. It's so strange, but I listen to a bunch of different like podcasts and different people like talking about like history or
Mm-hmm.
science or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting because you think about it and you're like, yeah, when people are trying to sound fancy, they're using words that are inherently Latin and not inherently German or Germanic, but
Mm-hmm.
they're all peppered together. But when you're trying to sound
Yeah.
very fancy and refined and you use
Right.
words like laissez-faire, it's
Yeah.
weird stuff like that. So
Right. And then
I understand why that would come across.
yeah, yeah. And then if you're not used to reading that, because she
Right.
reads fantasy, but she's new to fantasy, which was
Hmm.
good because I wanted to see what that would be like. But I mean, but she's read, I mean, my daughter reads fantasy and more of
Hmm.
like romantasy.
Okay.
So not she read Sarah J. Maas,
Hmm.
Akatar, I think is the yeah. So she read that and some other ones. She actually gave me a book that I started reading, which is not like romantasy at all. I mean, it's very like sword and sorcery, and it was really good. Um,
Hmm.
but but she's newer to fantasy. And so I wanted to see how that would play in. Is it understandable to someone who's not coming in with the fantasy bias already? It's like when I go to pick up a book and I have no idea what's happening in the first 3 chapters, it doesn't bother me because I
Yeah.
know that eventually they're going to explain it. It's going to all come together. And that's part of what I love about fantasy. It's like trying to make these little guesses along the way as I'm reading. And then, chapter 6, you're like, oh, yeah, I was right. Or no, I was wrong. I can't believe it. So,
Yeah.
but trying to see what that would be like for someone who is not used to that is interesting. It's really, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for the first one to come out, it needs to be as tight as possible. Whereas, hopefully in the future, I'll have more books out and then I can play a little bit loosey-goosey with the beginnings of my stories.
Yes.
Yeah,
We're living to play it to one day be loosey goosey.
that's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
I love
so I
that.
think we already talked about where you are in your submissions process. I think we're all pretty much in the same spot where we've pitched. I did send in my synopsis.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was really exciting. And but I think we're all probably looking at the end of the year to be done with our quote unquote revisions and yeah. And then going from there. So I guess we'll all be
Mhm.
trading at the end of the year, we'll be trading stories.
Yes. I'm excited.
That's really cool. And we talked about what we were writing, and we talked about what kind of writer we are. what does your schedule look like? Because I don't know if you're like me. I work full time. I have kids. So, what does your writing schedule look like?
Nick.
All right. I work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I tend to write more at night. I do like to the when I can, like if I'm really got something going and I can't, I can't stop if I got a lot of momentum going, like on breaks at work or on my lunch break, I'll do some writing. But I find that that time is better served editing if I'm doing anything like that rather than just straight up writing usually. I usually do my writing at night. I do a lot more after dark. I don't know if it's just kind of the light bulb comes on in my head when all the light bulbs in the house turn on at night or so. I don't know why, but I tend to uh, do my best writing and heaviest output in the evening. I write a lot on like it's like a electronic typewriter. That's a really useful tool. I think I have it over here. It's like a
Yeah. I
it's
think you
like a
posted it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
It's like
Yeah.
you can get them on eBay. They blew up on TikTok a few years ago, so they're like $150 now, but it's still pretty cheap compared to one of those like free write things. They're like $500 or $600, and this is just it's basically just like a calculator kind of screen. I don't know why somebody doesn't come up with more of these, but it acts as a keyboard. You just plug it into your computer and hook it up to Microsoft Word and hit send, and it'll just send everything over directly to it. Hook it up with a printer cable. I'll do that, or
Why do
honestly,
you, oh, sorry.
what's that?
Oh, I was just going to ask, why do you find it useful for some people who may not be familiar with that?
Because it like with it's more portable a lot of times, and it's got an internal battery that holds memory. I'm scared to leave anything on there for too long. As soon as I'm done writing stuff, I send it right over the computer just in case. But it works off of AA batteries, other than the little watch battery memory battery that it has to hold on your data. And those batteries, I've had this thing for about a year and I haven't changed the batteries yet. It's got an extremely long battery life. Um, you can take it places you can't as easily take a computer, and like I said, you don't have to worry about charging it. Um, it doesn't have a backlight on it, so the screen doesn't. You don't get as much like visual like eye strain as you would like looking at the computer more often, because you're just looking at basically just a calculator screen. So you don't have that LED or LCD backlight, which helps me sometimes be able to go longer. So yeah, and I just like the way the keyboard feels. It feels more like I like it better than like a laptop keyboard a lot of times. Just under the hand, but and it's also distraction free. I can pretty much just look at that and I won't even be tempted to, like I don't see any notifications pop up in the corner of the screen or anything like that. It's not something that can happen. So, and it's good if you want to like sit down for a certain length of time and write. But and I also sometimes use it to work on my like typing if because I do write a lot. Probably most of what I write is on just the notes app on my phone, because I like to move when I do it. So I'll be pacing sometimes, or walking around and writing, standing up, sitting down. I do a lot of writing outside, and I can just I have it in dark mode on that, where it's just black background and white text, so that helps with my eyes too. But I'm just able to get a lot of thoughts down quicker and easier between the phone and the typewriter than I can on a computer for some reason. I'm a lot more efficient that way.
I might look into that.
Yeah.
Because my phone's been going off and I'm like, who's texting me? Is it important?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's good you reminded me to charge my computer. I might look on eBay for one of those.
Yeah.
Do you guys dictate at all?
I'm sorry?
Do you dictate like with a voice recorder?
Sometimes, yeah, I'll do that sometimes on either on the computer or on my phone, I often use it to the text to speech to as a tool to
Mhm.
listen back on what I've written, because it'll catch misspellings that my eyes don't right offhand, or extra words, or just a weird, like, if even if it's in like the slightly robotic text to speech voice, if a sentence like has a weird flow to it, you'll notice it right off the bat quicker
Mhm.
than necessarily if you're reading it. It's like, oh, that sounded weird. I need to change I need to mix these words up, or I need to completely redo that because it sounds like just odd. And it's a good way to pre-check myself right there. Um, but yeah, I don't do a whole lot of dictation. I do some, but I end up I end up having to go back and correct it too much because I'll say like or but
Yeah.
what was it, and then that'll get written down too, and so
Right.
sometimes, but it's more effective just usually for me to just type it out with my thumbs or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah. Or if you make up a word, a fantasy word or a country, and it's like, what is that? That doesn't exist.
yeah, right,
Yes.
yeah.
It's like, did you mean Germany? And I'm like, no.
No, I did not mean Germany.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like my
I
main
do a lot of voice
character.
recording when I'm driving.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my main characters' names is Roland, like Roland, but with the
Yeah.
D cut off. So
Mhm.
the text to speech, I can't. I'm if I do that and I'm saying much about him, I'm just going back through and deleting D's off the end of his name over and over again because it keeps saying,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's the perils of writing fantasy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does help to at least get the words out of your head, because I don't
Hmm.
know if this happens to you guys. Like, I'll think of something, then I'll be like, oh, I'll write it down later, and
Yes.
I forget.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, there are
So
times I'll
like I
do voice
blurt out
notes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, dictation.
yeah.
Yeah, for if you get an idea, it's great. For the actual writing, it's not so much. But yeah, if you just like open up your notes and like say something into it, because
Hmm.
I've forgotten so
Mhm.
much that way. It's it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? What was
It's
Like,
like, I
that?
was so excited earlier and now I'm sad.
exactly. It's like I have no idea what I was going to
Right. I actually have the sticky notes app on my phone so that I can make it into a widget. And I'm like, I will see it. If I get distracted, I will see it on my phone. I'll be like, that.
write.
And I
Nice.
also have actual sticky notes, like at my
Yes.
desk.
Hmm.
Same. I've got sticky notes here, and then I
Yeah.
have this. Oh, pull it up. I've got this like. Here we go. This,
Nice.
Oh, that's
yeah.
cool.
See, so I'll just stick them all on there.
Love it.
And so when I go through my rewrite, that's the first thing I have to do is look at all of my sticky notes and see what I wrote. Yeah, all the things. And then I've got like poster board with my timelines, and
Yeah.
that's the real that was a lot of fun, which I'm really excited about being able to do that now that I'm not writing, is to go and do the calendar, because I'm doing a 8-week calendar system. I went down this huge rabbit hole of watching videos about different calendar systems, and they actually had a person or people that were timekeepers. Like that was like a literal
Mhm.
job, because not everybody had the same calendar. And so they would be responsible for keeping track of all the different schedules and calendars everybody was on, so that things like taxes could get paid, people knew where to bring, when to go to market, and trade and all of that. So it was really, really cool, because I was like, oh, I wonder if there's ever been an 8-day week. And so that's what happened.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I like
yeah, it was really cool.
that. It's fun.
Yep. I mean, that's part of writing is learning, I think,
Hmm.
especially when you're writing like fantasy, which is really interesting because I love history, I love science, all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
You were telling me with your power system when we were together that you wanted to go like almost molecular with the
Yeah.
water abilities so that
Hmm.
they could make things explode. And I was like,
Yes.
that's a different take. That's interesting. I like
I actually wrote that scene the other day, which was
Oh,
really
awesome.
cool.
That's fun.
I don't know if I described it exactly right, but that's okay. I told myself it's fine. You get it on the rewrite.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was really cool because I was also like getting really like hung up on like, well, if this is medieval, they wouldn't know this yet. And I realized just stop. It's in a fantasy world. It doesn't have to match our history exactly.
Yeah.
Their history could be different and the things that they learned could
Mhm.
happen at different times. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. We've had particle theory since ancient Greece. Like they've been thinking
Yes.
about what is it that
Yes.
makes up all matter, and they were
Yes.
kind of correct,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
I think
Yes.
is amazing. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's absolutely validated.
Yeah.
What's it called? Is it what's the name? Tiffany syndrome. Tiffany is like an old name. It's been around a long time, but if someone is named Tiffany in a medieval book or whatever fantasy book, people are like, "Ah, that's like a modern name." But it's not.
Right.
It's just people's
Huh.
Right.
general understanding.
Yeah.
So that is something that we have to think about sometimes, but it's your
Yeah.
book and you're not wrong. You can be
Yeah.
different and do what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but I love
Yeah.
that. It's so cool. Let's see. So I also have a 9 to 5.
Mhm.
I'm actually looking for a new 9 to 5, which is an added fun little stressful thing, taking
Yeah.
away from my writing time. So if I can write in the morning, I'll write in the morning. I try to write on my lunch break or edit on my lunch break. And then I write before dinner or after dinner, just whenever I can. On the weekends,
Mhm.
I try to give myself a little bit of a break, but I still set aside time to write. Or I'm like, I'm gonna
Mhm.
write even longer on my Saturday. So
Mhm.
yeah, I do really just write whenever I can, when I'm not doing things with family or friends or anything like that. Or
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like, I can't, I'm busy. I have to go write.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is whenever I can. I don't have any kids or anything like that, so it really just is work and other family and other time commitments that I
Mhm.
have to work around. But unless you count the cats, they're
Right.
very needy. They're all sleeping
That's
on my
our
bed,
need.
so I couldn't make my bed because they're all on it at the same time.
Oh goodness, that's funny.
They like to
Oh,
interrupt my writing,
yes.
so they're definitely a part of it. They're definitely like, "Hey, I want outside." I'm like, "You're not allowed outside. I don't know where you got that from." Or they're like, "I need to eat." I'm like, "You have 2 hours before it's time to eat." Anyway, stepping on the computer, laying
Yeah.
on me while I'm trying to write, laying on my arms. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
How about you?
energy. Good energy. That's awesome. Yeah. And so this last 2 weeks, I've been working double shifts
Oh,
every day for 14 days.
Oh wow.
man.
So I was pretty much writing whenever I could. And I'm actually shocked that I actually finished the book because I was working so much. But I guess with the nature of my work, I do have some downtime. So I would just write phone or on my laptop if I had it out, but a lot of times just on my phone in the app. And I was able to do that. And then when I do have more of a typical schedule, I like to write in the morning. I like to get up early, go for my walk, and then write first thing in the morning and get all my thoughts out. And then I save my editing for the night. So it's the opposite of you, Nick. I save my editing for the night. But this past 2 weeks showed me I can do it anyway. Actually, I can just power through and just write. And I do have two children, and my son homeschools, so I will do some editing or some writing like in the living room while he's doing his schoolwork. So it's like we're both working together. And or I'll do when I started doing the outlining and plotting part, I'll do that with the children, like when we're doing something else, or because then I can just, or I would work on world building or glossary or things like that. So that I'm still spending time with them, but then still getting what I need to get done. Yeah. So it's just pretty much
Power
like you
through it.
said. Yes, power through it. Yeah. It's a labor of love.
It is.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
guys write when you're in the car, or like think about it when you're in the car?
Yes, all the time. That's when I do most
I
of my
have
recording.
dictated while I'm in the car because I'm like,
Mhm.
make a voice note.
Mhm.
Yep.
I did, the first time I did it, I did nervous laugh. And I was like, shut up. No one is here to be embarrassed in front of. It doesn't matter that you're recording yourself or that you're talking out loud by yourself in your car. I
Sure.
did laugh. And I was like, I'm just going to cut that up. Don't pay any attention. But it is helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I've definitely
Mhm.
found myself doing
It
that.
is. Yeah, it is.
Just like being in the shower, you're doing something mundane,
Oh my
you know?
goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're like,
Yep.
oh, book idea. Oh my
Yep.
gosh, I'm driving. I can't do anything about it.
Yep. That's like how I actually came up with the second book, which I actually started. I did the blurb for it, and so I have the basic idea of the entire story already. And then I figure I can start writing that in between to kind of pull myself out of this world a little bit so that when I go back, I'm reading it as a reader, as much as possible. And yeah, so, but like, yeah, those shower ideas, I keep my phone in the bathroom. I'm like, okay, this is the idea I had.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Your
like,
fingers went, you're like,
no, I know. I'm like
Right.
trying
Yeah.
my hands on the hand towel, and I'm like, please don't electrocute me.
yeah, for real.
Yeah. Yeah, especially today, nowadays we always have our phones on us and stuff, and
Mhm.
we're usually, listening to music or podcasts or something. I got to where I was just listening to pretty much only, just other people talking when I was in the car.
Mhm.
And I remember reading that there's a study where, and it makes sense, like we need to be bored. Like people get bored for a reason. It's a time when,
Mhm.
especially creative people, so a lot of times I'll just, like when I'm driving, I'll listen to music a lot, still some, but often I'll just try to drive in silence and just let my mind work about, and that's when I come up with some really, good ideas that way. And like you said, get your dictation thing out and on your phone, and start working on that. But yeah, like the shower, like you said, is perfect for that. It's because it gives you time with just your own thoughts, and instead of being distracted by everybody else's and everything else's that's going on, because we've all got so much to do. So yeah, I think it's really important to allow ourselves that time
Mhm.
of boredom, to because that's the spark of creativity, comes from there. I think it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The other
I've
place
heard
I
a
get
couple.
ideas is walking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were a couple things that I saw about boredom recently. One was I follow a podcast called Writing Excuses, so that's good. For like newer people, you have seasoned authors talking about craft, and they have a ton of episodes. But a recent one, he was one of the guys was talking about boredom, and he was like, I need to just go into a room and stare at a wall until I want to shoot myself in the head. Because then you have like people don't want to be bored. They don't want to be like in general alone with their thoughts. And because then you have to self-reflect and maybe you weren't so nice the other day, or maybe you need to process some things. And we
Mhm.
kind of live in a very, like in the West, a very avoidant culture. So
Mhm.
just in general, that is becoming more and more important to disconnect from all the distractions and just be in your head and know yourself and what you're thinking.
Mhm.
And then as creatives, yeah, that's a way to like refill with the creative juices and everything and get things going, because you can hit a wall so fast when you're just like keeping to this crazy schedule of I have to work, I have to do things for my family, and then I have to write, and then you get to writing and you're like, I don't have anything in me
Hmm.
anymore. So you just got to stare at the wall and be like, that spackling kind of looks like a face. And then it just like goes from there where you're like, I wonder what he's thinking, you know?
Yep.
So But yeah, boredom is an important tool.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
But yeah, the podcast is Writing Excuses. It's a good one.
Definitely gonna check that out.
It's
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Dan Wells and Brandon Sanderson were on it at the
Oh,
beginning, and then their author friends are now the ones that have carried it on.
Oh, cool.
okay.
You've got Don Juan and Mary Robinette Cowell. She wrote Calculating Stars and a few other books. She like her thing is like writing Jane Austen-esque novels like in space. So
Ah, okay.
Okay.
that's her
cool.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
But
Nice.
great podcast.
Very cool. I like that. So I have one last question. Well, no, I have two last questions. Take it back. And so I guess maybe we kind of answer this. We're probably all looking to submit and try trad route first before indie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That was one of my questions. And the other one is, what are you reading right now?
I'm reading Hail Mary.
Oh, okay.
I like it. I like it a lot. It already started to make me cry, and I was like, I didn't sign on for this.
Is it sci-fi? I've heard a lot
Yes.
I've heard about it, but I don't know anything about it. So it's sci-fi.
Sorry, the cat's talking to me.
Mhm.
It's really good. It is sci-fi. It's Andy Weir who wrote The Martian, and Artemis also is another book I've read of his that's really good. It's about a
Okay.
city on the moon. And he's such a nerd, I have to say. He knows a lot of other nerds. And so he has this great way of tying in like science to the narrative and kind of making it palatable. I do have to say, if you don't get excited about some random guy in space doing math and figuring things out, it's not the book for you because that's a lot of it. A lot of it is, oh my gosh, I've woken up in a spaceship and I don't know who I am. What do I do? How do I do things? And he uses some basic physics knowledge to actually figure out how to do things. And he does get his memory back, but that's how the book starts. It's very good.
Oh, that's cool.
Very interesting. But yeah, I think it was either last night or the night before. I was like, I'll read another chapter. And I started crying and I was like, no, I just wanted to be entertained. I didn't want to feel anything. So he's got a good balance of the emotional part of things and the character part of things, and then like the science, the sci-fi plot. So
okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. What about you, Nick?
I am the next book I'm going to read. I picked up a copy of The Last Wish by Andrew Sapkowski. It's the Witcher series. It's a Netflix and video game series. I'm not familiar. I mean, I'm familiar. I have friends that have watched and played them, but I've never. It seems interesting. I've just never gotten into those myself. But I saw I was at Half Price Books the other day and found a copy of the first.
I think he froze.
Froze. Yep.
Can you hear us, Nick? I can't hear him.
No. He'll be back.
He will.
I might need to change the location where I do these.
Oh, okay.
Or try to bring in my well, I'm not freezing, so it might not be my connection on this one.
Yeah, I think it was his.
Yeah. But I'll go until he comes back. I am reading The Burning Stone by Kate Elliott, which is book 3 in her Crown of Stars series. And then I'm also listening to Children of Blood and Ash. And oh my goodness, why can I not remember the name? I'm gonna look it up really quick because it's on my phone. I hate when I forget the name of the author. By Tommy Adiyami. So yeah. So it takes place in, I think it's an Afro fantasy. So it takes place, yeah. So it's very a different culture. It's really interesting. It brings in like their belief systems and their folklore and everything, which is really, really cool. And then I'm reading a lot of short stories, Guyanese short stories in history. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm reading right now.
Have you ever read Robert Lacey's History of England?
No, I have not.
It's okay, so I read it in college for school, and it was
Mhm.
the first time that I ever was like, "Oh my gosh, history can be interesting." There's a
Mhm.
way that they can teach us, and it's
Oh, cool.
palatable and cool. It's the way he writes it is more like storytelling. He does a really good job,
Mhm.
but it's not like dramatized or anything like
Okay.
that. So it's an actual history book. He just writes it in a way that isn't just horribly mind-numbingly boring.
Right. Yeah.
And I loved
Yeah.
it, and so I even bought myself a copy after I graduated because I was like, "This
Oh,
is a good
cool.
book." But there's a lot of good, just crazy things that happened, like the Thames being so polluted that it started to stink the
Wow.
entire city, and that they were like people were dumping things in it, or people would like jump off bridges and commit
Yeah.
suicide, and just the way it affected the decomp of just everything inside of it
Mhm.
was so crazy. It's was in the 1800s into the 1900s, but it's almost like a modern. I mean, you could do you could do like either a like horror fantasy or like horror sci-fi of something coming out of that river because of all the funk
Mhm.
that was in there. But it's interesting how people are so used to something that we would never
Yeah.
tolerate, and they're just living with
Right.
it, and you're like, "What do you mean?"
Right. Exactly.
You're just living with that in the middle of your
Yeah.
city, and you're using
Yeah.
the water?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that was
And
one of the
yeah,
chapters that I remember very vividly.
that's crazy. I know. It's interesting that throughout history, water is life.
Mhm.
And nations are made or broken on lack or acquiescence of water.
Yeah.
So for people to pollute their water source to me just seems so unconscionable. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah,
So it's just amazing what people will
yeah.
do.
It is interesting. And
Well,
then
it
there's
looks like,
also the
yeah.
cholera in the wells in London, and, yeah, that's a whole other chapter, but it's exactly like what you're saying. Like people were they were just learning about germ theory, and this one doctor, Jon Snow, ironically, he doesn't have
Hmm.
anything to do with Game of Thrones, but his name was Jon Snow. He was like, "Guys, I think this well is contaminated with something. I think it's giving people cholera." And they were like, "No, cholera is contagious through the air, you idiot."
Right.
And they
Yeah.
had no
Yeah.
idea. Cholera
Yeah.
is a bad vapor in the
Right.
nighttime air.
Exactly.
It's so interesting how people thought night air was different from day air.
Hmm.
That whole concept to me was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Night air makes you sick. It brings demons."
Right. Yeah. And it's
It's
just, it's so weird. Yeah, it is weird because, yeah, I mean, night air is there is organic compounds that are different at night
yeah,
because trees release carbon dioxide at night.
mhm.
Um, but there's nothing bad about it.
No, no,
Yeah,
nothing that's gonna make you
nothing bad
sick
about it.
like
Yeah,
that. Not any different in the daytime.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no. It's just like same thing with like weather. Obviously, being
Mhm.
cold and wet is not good, but water doesn't make you sick in and of itself. Being cold doesn't make you sick in and of itself. Being hot doesn't
Right.
make you sick in and of itself. All of those things. Yeah.
He's back.
So yeah, it's just it's this disconnect we all have with nature.
Right.
That's just
Exactly.
happened generationally over hundreds and thousands of years. It's really hard to get that back again and to,
Yeah.
kind of release those fears.
Right. I
Yep.
agree.
Oh.
Nick is back.
Yeah.
Do
Sorry
you
about that.
remember what you were saying, Nick?
I do. Yeah, my internet went out on me.
Oh.
I'm had to jump on my phone real quick, but yeah. What I was reading, I think, was what I was.
Mhm.
Was okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm about to start reading that the Last Wish, which is in the Witcher series by Andrew Sapkowski. I haven't played the games or watched the show, but I have friends that have and told me and read the books and told me they were good. So I found a copy at Half Price Books and picked that up. So that's next on my list. Right now, I'm reading a light novel, a Japanese. It's an English translation of a light novel in the Rascal Does Not Dream series. There's an anime based on it, and which I've seen and really enjoy. It's kind of like a um, high school kind of drama with metaphysical things in it, where like kind of your it deals main characters dealing with something called adolescent syndrome or puberty syndrome, depending on the translation, where it's basically there's some fellow classmates are going through different events where there's some psychological um, issues they're dealing with, or just things that involve growing up, like not being noticed or something. Somebody stops being seen by somebody, so they're or identity crisis thing where you have like a Groundhog Day thing where it's a day. Each book kind of deals with a different person's issue in his life. And it's pretty interesting
Okay,
for me
cool.
anyway. I like that series a lot. It's not all what I'm writing, like fantasy. It's just I mean
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
fantasy. It's kind of crazy, but I enjoy that series a lot. I'm 3 books in on that, and uh, yeah, that's uh,
Nice.
that's what I'm reading
You
right now.
should send that. That sounds good.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
I love anime. I found
Yeah.
an anime on Amazon because I was like, that looks nice. It looks friendly. Why it's
Mhm.
just a little junior high, high school. Oh, do we have crushes on one another? We don't
Mhm.
know. That's literally it. And I'm like, oh, so cute. I hope they end up
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Just little slice of
Yeah.
life, making
Yeah.
friends, learning how to make friends and understand other people. I think anime as a
Yeah.
medium is really good at character and
Mhm.
like actually
Yeah.
breaking apart what it is to be a person and why people are the way they are.
Mhm.
Um, like I love, of course, I love the art styles, but
Mhm.
I think that's really what attracted me to anime when I was a kid because I was like, oh, you can actually verbalize these feelings and like
Mhm.
analyze them. And then if you're wrong or you're doing something that's unhealthy or you're being mean to someone for some reason, you can say, hey, I can analyze this in myself and then change. And then things can be
Yeah.
better. And that's something that I think is maybe not missing, but I don't think we highlight it enough
Mhm.
in a lot of like media that we make here, or at least
Yeah.
at the
No,
time when
sure.
I was watching anime.
Right.
Like the Nickelodeon cartoons were a lot less. Why is this bully bullying this person? And more of SpongeBob and Patrick,
Right.
Right.
which is great in its own right. But
Yeah.
I do like
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do agree with that. I mean, I love anime for that reason.
Mhm.
There's one that I haven't watched yet, but I might watch after this is oh, I can't think of the name. Anyway, it's about these two students, and I think they're in high school, but it starts off when they're in elementary school, and one of them is deaf. And
Yes, it's very good. I know,
okay,
I know the one you're talking
yeah,
about.
and then the boy bullies her, but then it like fast forwards into the future, and it's about them as they grow up. And because he was so mean to her, he actually became the ostracized one, and
Mhm.
he has some ideation around that being lonely and things like that. So I haven't watched it yet, but I really do want to watch it. But it you know, like they touch on things like that. They really go into like those feelings. And I love the Wolf Children one. I don't know if you've seen that one. And it's a single mom, the husband dies, and her children, they're like half wolf, half human. And it's just about her building a new life for them. They're living in the countryside where they can run free, and about her allowing them to grow up to make their choice whether they want to be a wolf or they want to be their human side. And so, like, you just don't see that in Western and animation or screenplays or anything like that. They don't really have that, like, you know, these are very, the world's not ending, nothing's blowing up, but that is a very visceral, real thing that a parent goes through and that a child goes through, and it's very relatable and understandable. And I really appreciate that about a lot of anime.
Yeah, it seems like a lot more emotionally resonant than a lot of Western media. Yeah, it really, gets deep on things. It's not a lot of anime is not afraid to make you feel things and think about things in a different way and look at things in a different way. It's really good at that.
I wish I could remember the name of the anime that you're talking about watching with the deaf girl. It's very good. You're going to cry. But it's very, very good. It's probably a really good example of what we're talking about with the emotional depth and like self-analysis and everything. But you know, I started off watching like a Fruits Basket in middle school, and I was like, oh, there are all these different kinds of people with all these different issues, or they have the same issue but completely different perspectives on it depending on where they're coming from. And I think it just teaches you a little bit more about people and how they work and makes you a little more emotionally intelligent. But I do like that. The one I'm watching right now is not emotionally intelligent. It's just it's just a crush. She's like, I've liked him since elementary school, but I don't think he sees me. And I'm convinced that he's in love with her. But they won't say anything. And so I'm like, just say it. My gosh. Anyway, it's that kind. It's very sweet.
Yeah. And then there's Delicious in Dungeon, which is just
right.
about, you know, cooking. I think that it does have more of a plot like later on in the series. I haven't gotten there yet, but just cooking monsters.
Yeah. They're like, don't do that. That's poisonous. But if you cook this way, it's fine.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. They're not afraid to just like make the wackiest things ever. And it works, you know, because it's honest.
Sometimes they should dial it back. Have either of you heard of Madoka Magica?
Yes, there are some things that I will not watch.
Yes. Okay, that's one that's like, don't ever watch it. If everyone says, let's watch this, they're trying to hurt you.
Oh no.
It's a magical girl anime, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be like the Sakura or Sailor Moon. It's not. It's awful. They're tricking you. They're like, it's gonna be sweet. And then one of the characters immediately dies in a horrific way. And you're like, I would just want something very PG, but no. Anyway, so it's a trap. That anime is a trap. Don't.
I watched one with my daughter where every single character except one died. And I was
Was it Attack on Titan?
No, it's not Attack on Titan, but it was another one. Oh, why can I not think of it? But they were like fighting they were like in a school or a big mansion or something. Like that's like their home base, and they had to go out and they were like fighting this creature. And they all died except one character. And I was just like,
Neverland is another one.
Oh yes.
Where you're like, oh, just a sweet little orphanage, bunch of kids, and you're like,
awful.
Horrifying. Horrifying. Oh.
They trick you very much. Like the first, 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah. Do you have one more question?
No, I think we
did.
covered them all. Yeah. And we even talked about stuff I didn't write about, so which is good.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's so good catching up with you guys.
Yeah, it is. It was totally,
yeah.
I was so glad to have met you guys. So
Yes.
yes.
Exactly.
Oh,
I'm excited for us all to get back to work and that so we can trade chapters and things.
Yes.
yes, I definitely
be a lot
have
of
a
fun.
goal to look forward to now.
Oh yeah.
Yes. All right, guys. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for coming out and chatting with me.
Thanks for having us. This is so much fun.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.